Thanks for stopping in today at Blue Collar Backcountry. I thought today I would share my final decisions I've made on my gear that I'm taking on the Northeast Texas Trail. And for the last couple of weeks I've gone back and forth between my fat bike and my Yeti, and it's been a battle. Be honest with you, I had pretty much decided to take the Yeti to save a little bit of weight and just a slightly different high and low gear. But I've been riding 25 to 30 miles a day for the last couple of weeks trying to get more butt in shape. And the master cylinders on my hydraulic disc brakes locked up. Come to find out, it's kind of a common problem with the SRAM guide brakes. There's a plastic piston in there. This serves as like a miniature master cylinder for your hydraulic disc brake. And that plastic piston, when it gets hot, well, even if it's just hot outside, they tend to stick. I had no idea this was such a problem until I started investigating it, and it calls for a full rebuild and a brake bleed. My feelings aren't hurt too bad though, because I was really wanting to ride the fat bike anyway. And the next week they're calling for rain. The N.E.T.T. Northeast Texas Trail is an unfinished rails to trail project, and I found out through research there's a few places where the road bed and everything's just been completely pulled up. So with all the rain we've had and everything else, it's a mud fest. So the old fat bike will handle that a whole lot better. So let's take a look at the old fat bike, and I'll tell you how I've got it set up for this 300-mile trip. So you can see the size of these tires. If I have tire problems out on the trail, I'm going to need a good pump. So strapped to my lower fork tube, I've got the Toe Peak Mountain Morph pump. That's a pretty sweet little pump. It's got a little flip out here at the bottom where you can put your foot on it. It's got a hose, so you don't have to tie directly to your valve. Moving on to the middle of the bike, I've got a Blackburn outpost cage, and in that I've got a Captiva Designs folding camp chair. Of course, I'm using the Race Face Chester flat pedals. I love those things. I've got the lizard skin chainstay protector, and then moving on up, I've got a Blackburn seat bag, and in that's got all of my tools that I'll need for this trip, except for my shock pump, and I'll keep that in my bigger bag. The bigger bag is the Toe Peak MTX trunk bag with the fold-out panniers, which works out really well. In the back, I've got the Seagull Light Hot Shot tail light with adjustable strobes for any time I do have to get out and do a little road riding, and there will be some road riding involved. Now I've got my MTX bag loaded with everything I'm going to need on this trip, but if I did need a little bit more room, this top unzips and the top is expandable where you can cram in even more. The WTB saddle from my Yeti is quite a bit more comfortable than what I had on this thing, so I did pull the saddle off of my Yeti and put it on my fat bike for this trip. All right, let's take a look at the cockpit and I'll show you how I've got that set up. There's so many different ways of doing this, and everybody's different, so just whatever suits you. But for my top tube bag, I used a Rock Bros top tube bag. This bag is pretty waterproof. I've rode in the rain and quite a few times with it, and everything has stayed very dry. And this is also set up to put your cell phone inside. But what I like to do with that is use it for my maps. And I can put maps and any other information I may need on the trail. If you do use it with your cell phone, down here below where the zippers are, there's a port down there where you can run your earbuds through. Moving up from the top tube bag, I've got the Revelate Designs mountain feed bags, and I love these things. These are great. I got plenty of room for my water bottles in here. There's storage all the way around. Here I've got sunscreen, I've got insect spray, which I hope I don't have to use. I hate that stuff. Right here in the front, I've got chain lube. This side I'll have Cliff Bars or some other type of a snack. On this side of the bag, in this pouch, I carry a little piece of polycro in there in case I want to stop, take a little break and stretch that out. Because I'm running a tubeless setup, I've got miniature tire plugs, and I've got those up here close by, so if I do get a flat, I can reach my plugs really quickly. One of the really nice features about the Revelate Designs mountain feed bags is when I need to access water or anything in here, you grab this loop and pull it, it releases whatever you've got in your bag. Now if you grab here and pull, it'll cinch it back up, so when it is raining, it will shed most of the water. On the right side of the cockpit, I've got this set up where I can put my GoPro in here. I won't do all the filming from this, but this will be a nice little spot where I don't have to wear it on my chest or on my head. Left side of the cockpit, I've got a mount there for my Samsung phone. I've also been using these Ergon GP2 grips with the small size bar end. I love these things. You got multiple places to put your hand because it does get a little rough on your hands from time to time. On the front of the handlebars, I've got the Salsa Anything Cradle. I love that thing because it takes all of the weight, it takes everything off of your cables, and I don't want that. I don't need anything rubbing my cables or my brake hoses. It all comes together as a kit form with the Salsa Anything Cradle. Is also the Salsa dry bag at 15 liters. There's my home for the trip. Inside that dry bag, I've got my Z-Packs duplex tent. I've got an inflatable mattress. I've got an inflatable pillow. And I've got my Costco down quilt that Michelle made for me a year or two ago. So there's my home inside there. Also a part of this Salsa Anything Cradle kit is the Salsa pouch. And this is a waterproof pouch. Inside that pouch, I'll be carrying all my electronics. As I mentioned before, I do have my tires set up tubeless. So on the back of my rack, which is also toe peak set up for this bag, I took some blue plastic, covered the arms of the rack, and then I've got inner tubes mounted on top of that just in case I do get a flat that I can't fix or plug on the trail. That should cover everything I'm going to need. Also for powering my electronics, I've got 3 different battery banks that's going to give me a total of 32,000 milliamps. That should keep all my GoPro batteries charged up, my phone, and everything else I got going. All right, y'all, there's a quick little look at my rig. The next time you see me, I'll be on the Northeast Texas Trail, and I want to do a thorough video on this. There's some video clips out there, a few videos on the trail, but nothing that really shows a good thorough video on the trail so people can see what to really expect. So I'm hoping to do that. I also met last April Gary Tuchek, who is on the board of the Northeast Texas Trail Conservancy and the chief of the volunteer fire department in Avery. They've got a hostel there. Hopefully we'll get to meet up with him again and get a little interview with him, and I'll show you all the hostel that they've built for the hikers and bikers on the Northeast Texas Trail. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here and let you have it. I'm going to show you a list of all the people that have partnered with me on this ride for children's cancer research, and I want y'all to know y'all are amazing, man. I appreciate every one of you. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the trail.